Hey everybody, MaJeliv here. It's the Vasquez family today. Today it's just gonna be me and my dad, but it's a really exciting video, even though it's just 2 out of the 5 of us. Today's video, we are going to watch a pre-screening of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And we are super grateful for this opportunity. We get to go and watch the movie before a lot of people do. But we are extremely intrigued, and we cannot wait to see how this movie focuses on, that father-son relationship, because really the whole movie centers around that. Shang-Chi and how he's living beyond, the legacy of his family. And really, we don't really know much else going into it, and we can't wait to experience it together. We are running a little late, as we usually do. We tend to.
Usually is a strong word. We tend to get to places on time. But I want to thank Disney for an opportunity to do this with my son, with my firstborn. This will be a momentous day, and I'm excited to share this with him. I'm excited to see what this movie is going to be about. What it especially when we talk about the culture of a father-son relationship. It really is something that pulls at my heartstrings. So I'm gonna focus on the road. I'll let him kind of say a few more things, but we'll see you at the movies for sure.
I mean, the biggest thing that we are also excited about is the fact that this is, besides Black Widow, the first, yet again, a new character, new Marvel movie that we're able to experience in theaters. So there's a lot to be excited about here, but that father-son relationship is really cool. I think what we talked about when we first saw the trailer was the fact that this is a very family-oriented superhero movie. Generally, besides some of the family aspects in Black Widow, this is blood. This is family and legacy and the ancestors and the royalty. So how does that play into the movie and into the Marvel universe? These themes and it is great to see a movie with so many so much Asian representation, and I can't wait to see these actors bring these characters to life. There's just a lot of exciting stuff to see, and really fantastic things that we can't wait to talk about. So we're gonna head to the theater, and we'll talk more once we get there. But thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you guys enjoy our reaction. Again, stick to later in the video. You guys will hear our thoughts and what we think, and what you guys should look out for, and what stood out to us. But again, thank you Disney, thank you Marvel. We are extremely excited.
And if I can add really quick, Matthew, I also want to say thank you to our beautiful family, your beautiful mama, my bride, and Jemmy and Josh. A shout out to them. We miss you. This van without you right now is weird.
So weird.
It is so weird.
But we can't wait to get home and share with you guys what we saw, and we definitely will be watching this movie more than once. Because man, it's Marvel. Marvel is truly wonderful. Yo, also, we just realized me and my dad haven't been to a movie by ourselves in literally years. It's been, I think the last time we went to a movie by ourselves was watching Phantom Menace, when they did the whole 3D release thing a couple of years back. So that as well is what makes this whole day outing extremely exciting. And oh man, we just cannot wait to see how this father-son, that's what I'm intrigued about this movie the most, is that father-son relationship, and how our father-son relationship compares to Shang-Chi and his dad, the Mandarin, if you will. So anyway, a little side note, thanks for joining us. We can't wait to review Shang-Chi once we get out, so here we go.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Okay.
Oh wow. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Wow. Whoa. Where do we even start? Jeez Louise.
Let's start with a sense of maybe
overall,
someone hasn't seen it, so just some.
Right. I mean, overall thoughts from the get-go. This is something we've never seen before from a Marvel movie, from a movie in general. The way they're able to blend so many new, fresh things. I mean, it was so many great performances from all the actors. Everyone brought their A game. The action. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before. Or rather, maybe there was also just that feeling of nostalgia watching those older stuff. I was telling my dad as we were watching, I was like, Shang-Chi has like this Jackie Chan like movement to him. And I don't know what else to hear, like what the moves and action remind.
Well, I mean, there's a lot that I was reminded of. I said it when we watched the trailer that it had Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon feels to it, and it most certainly did. You guys definitely need to watch it. We will have to set it up so we can see it. Yeah. The martial arts. These fights were beautifully choreographed. I mean, it was some of it. I'm like, how did they even film this? I had so many wonderful things that just hit the right note for me. The story elements were in place where there are themes that transcend the genre of Marvel and all of this stuff. So we'll get to that, because once we go into the themes, I think it's kind of hard to avoid spoilers. But
really, even from the trailers, you do get that sense of, and we talked about it before watching, the sense of that father-son relationship, and family relationship in general. I mean, mother to son, mother to daughter, father to daughter, really father and son. And really,
brother and sister, siblings too.
Too. Yeah. Oh man.
It touches on all those things that impact our daily lives. Marvel has become, for lack of a better term, a type of mythology for American culture, you know?
Kind of like, yeah.
And what I love about this is that Marvel has embraced the Asian mythologies, and there's so many iconic figures of mythology that we see in this film that really highlight the culture and the stories behind them, and the many thematic familial things that it rings to. So, and it connects to us. I mean, we're not directly Asian. I don't know if we have some in our lineage,
right, maybe.
But it touches on our family life, you know, and
it's fascination, you know, and
man,
it's always been such a beautiful culture, and to see it represented in such a way where it is fused, it's also fresh, it's new, and references to things that already exist.
Yep.
Starting in the movie, and now we're going to start getting into spoilers, so spoiler warning here for anyone that hasn't seen it. Come back and watch this when you've seen the movie. But right from the get-go of this movie, they dive us right into, you know, the origin and the history of this family specifically, and specifically the Mandarin, or rather, that's the name they gave him. Wenwu, as we learned his name was. Wenwu and Shang-Chi are leaders in their own way, so it seemed very easy for them to clash, and it is easy for us too to clash. But it was just, I mean, when you look at, like, you know, the arguments we've had and how we've been able to mend them in the past, and you look at a movie like this and you see, I mean, talk about an artistic, epic way of looking at arguments or battles or fights you can have with your parents, specifically your fathers, you know, to see how it all kind of came together at the end, the way that, you know, characters chose mercy in the end, and a sense of forgiveness, which I think is what matters the most coming out of all that. And I know you have a lot of thoughts. I'm talking a lot, but I can pass it on a little bit. So.
No, I love it. I love hearing you reflect on how it hits you. There's just quick things to say. As a dad, oh man. As a dad, I immediately started to get tugged at those heartstrings. There's a lot that I'm going through in my life right now, watching you hit this pinnacle of your age, where you're a young man now, ready to kind of start your own track here, your own path. So there's a lot of reflection on what I saw on the screen today. To watch Wenwu to go from a man of greed and power and then falling in love. That whole sequence was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, of what a woman's love can do to a man. And then they have children, and to hold his children, that changes everything. It changes absolutely everything. And I think that's why a lot of men can't handle that in the world. I know I certainly couldn't at first, and it's taken me many, many years to settle into the role of what it really means to be fully all in.
Or even after that, where he thought he got it, but then he, you know, I feel like a lot of, no, I mean, I'm not a dad yet, but I do feel like a lot of, from what you've taught me and what you've explained, is, you know, a lot of dads a lot of fathers tend to think that, you know, they need to have certain power, certain security to know that they're a good dad. And sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes, you know, kids, you know, specifically sons and daughters, need their fathers to just be around, to just be present, to just be there to love them.
That's it. That's the key word, to be present.
Right, and we learned that, you know, Wenwu could have done more of that with his 2 children. You know, when you're given such a power, such a responsibility, like the 10 rings, you know, you really need to know who you are, what you stand for, before you take on something like that. And when we see the comparison of how Wenwu was when he had the rings, and when a character like Shang-Chi is...
Yeah, I don't think Wenwu really knew who he was. I mean, he discovered a power. It's still unknown how. Again, to bring it back, we said we have a strong feeling it has something to do with the Eternals. But on a more personal level, Wenwu just never really... He figured out how to use them. And maybe who he was just a very dark figure in history. While Shang-Chi's mom was more of the light, and the combination of the two. That's something that I absolutely loved about the message of the legacy that we pass on to you guys, is a combination of who we are as parents. You know, your mom and I, you are a combination of that. So is your brother and your sister. But then you're also your own person. You have your own choices, the things you get to discover, and we really do see Shang-Chi and his sister figure that out. They figure themselves out, and once they do, you know, all hope is restored. I don't like the reality that too many times in life and in fiction, children pay for the sins of their parents. In this case, Shang-Chi and his sister almost paid for the sins of their father. And, you know, that's the elemental thing that I absolutely loved about watching this film. That message is clear to dads all around, to men who have children. Whether they're adult children or not, they're still our children. And
specifically sons too. I think the father-son relationship nowadays isn't talked about enough. It's, you know, it's really...
I think we clash, man, because I see the best of me and you, and I see the worst
and then
of me and you. And to fight that again, and
then also it's that sense of, like looking in the mirror, and Shang-Chi finds things in himself. I find things in myself sometimes. I don't know where they come from or what they are.
I do.
Right, that's why we clash. But when it comes to this story, you know, Shang-Chi does go through that identity, kind of like, you know, who am I supposed to be, and kind of deciding, do I be who my mom called me to be, or do I be who my dad is training me to be? And then it's so beautiful how in the end he says, no, I can be something in the middle, you know. And it's a sense of balance that you talked about. If you noticed, like at the end,
that's what his mom taught him,
right?
You know.
And then not, I mean, spoiler warning again, but at the end, right when the thing's kind of closing up, you see the dragon create in the water almost like a yin yang, and to me that brought back
beautiful, yes,
the light and the dark, and how he was the heart of the dragon. So the beauty of, you know, you need to know. The mom said a line and I can't remember it now, but about having to understand and know who you are. You know, light and dark, both sides, in order to master both. So it was just beautiful.
Absolutely
it was
beautiful.
Morally, like anybody can relate to this, any relationship, wherever you are, as a son looking up to your father, as a father looking down to your children, whether you have a son or a daughter. Like, this movie is, I mean, you learn a lot. So the relationships there were so great to watch, and then beyond just the family aspects, you know, the friendship between Shang-Chi and was it Katie?
Katie.
Oh my, Aquafina, man. Oh,
she kind of steals it at times, man. She's just so
great.
She's so raw. Like, she's just herself. It's a beautiful thing to watch. She's an artist that's just herself, and she goes through a pretty powerful transformation as well. I don't want to say much about it because I think that's one to really.
But Simu Liu too, man. The guy who played Shang-Chi, he freaking killed it. I mean, really talking about owning a character and just being yourself and bringing yourself to the character. Oh man,
there really only were a few times where I kind of saw certain things coming, just because I feel like I would have written it that way. There was like 2 or 3 moments that I'm like, yeah, I think this, and then it would happen, and I loved. There were some things that most of the film I didn't know what was going to happen, and I love that. I absolutely love the sense that it felt very much like an Asian film and an Asian enriched culture. And I took a class in college, an Asian film class, and it was just gorgeous. It's such a gorgeous culture, and the colors and the ties to family. It's just, I love all of that. The action is absolutely amazing.
Insane.
Absolutely amazing.
And I mean, talk about like
Breathtaking.
It was a balance, because I think sometimes when it comes to action, there's times where the CGI can become too much. There's too much slow-mo, and then it just gets you out of it because you know there's no way. How do they get this?
Yeah.
But this movie is such a beautiful balance of being able to, just like a fluid balance as to how to mix both, where it both feels still very much grounded in the reality of what we're watching, but we've never seen anything like it. Like, there's a part where, like, I don't even know how to describe it, but Shang-Chi's like crawling through the railings in the bus.
All in all, absolutely wonderful film.
What a film, man.
We cannot wait to share this with the rest of the family and get their take on it, because there's elements that need to be talked about. The mother's perspective, for example.
Yeah.
She is I love that shot of her in her white gi, rather. I don't know if it's gi in this sense, because I don't the form she's teaching her children, I don't know.
It's different, but in the sense that
she's the light. She definitely is a light to the dads. And that last shot of the dad, he's wearing that dark. The light and the dark is a very elemental thing in this film. So we loved it, man. I absolutely love it. Cannot wait to watch it again.
Yeah, man. So
Definitely.
Thank you. I mean, thank you again, Disney Marvel, for this opportunity. We absolutely loved coming to this screening and getting our hands on the movie and the content, and it's just really exciting to see where Marvel's going. I think, they're at a place now where they're taking risks with a lot of their new stories, trying new, fresh things, and it's exciting because it's at a point now where, like you said, at times there's things that we may see coming, but this movie proved that there were some things that they continue to surprise us with.
In terms of the MCU, they've got some things they're connecting us to that I think you guys are gonna love, man. You guys have to go see this movie, see it, support it. It is absolutely wonderful. It's gonna tie in beautifully to everything we know about Marvel, and then some. It's adding,
but
it's putting everything.
That's the thing, it stands on its own thing. I think that's the thing too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sometimes I think when you try to combine movies, you can fall into the thing of depending too much on the universe that already exists.
Agreed.
Whereas this movie does a wonderful job of being its own thing, of being grounded in the reality of these characters, the lives they live, and then in the end, I mean, like, just incredibly tying them into everything that's supposed to come in. So we are extremely stoked. My dad said, go watch this movie and let us know what you think. Let us know in the comments what you thought and what you hope to see in the future, and how you feel, how much of a Shang-Chi fan you are, and what about the relationships to father, son, family really resonated with you throughout this movie. But we are extremely grateful that we got to experience this together.
Yes, thank you.
Father and son, man, such a great outing and movie to watch. But really, anybody and any family can get something out of this. So go out there, support this movie, go out there, spread your light, and we'll see you guys in the next MaJeliv video. Have a MaJeliv day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.